When it comes to speed and power, Japanese muscle cars pack a punch like no other. These machines combine elegant designs with incredible performance, turning heads and dominating the roads. Number 12, 1971 Mitsubishi Galant GTO. When speed and style collide, legends are born, and the 1971 Mitsubishi Galant GTO is proof. In its prime, this stylish two-door coupe could accelerate from 0 to 60 miles per hour in 9 seconds, a number that turned heads in the early 70s. With a top speed of 120 miles per hour and an impressive fuel efficiency of 30 miles per gallon, the Galant GTO wasn't just quick, it was ahead of its time. This car didn't just perform well, it looked the part, too. Mitsubishi drew inspiration from American muscle icons like the Ford Mustang and Pontiac Firebird, giving the Galant GTO a bold, aggressive design. Its long hood, sharp ducktail rear, and rounded quad headlights were unmistakably muscle car-inspired. It even featured a pillarless design with frameless windows, adding a touch of elegance to its muscular vibe. Let's have a quick view on its origin. The Galant GTO first appeared as the Galant GTX-1 show car at the Tokyo Motor Show in 1969, making quite an impression. By November 1970, it hit the market as the flagship coupe of Mitsubishi's Colt Galant sedan lineup. With its 5-speed manual transmission and rear-wheel drive, the GTO promised an engaging driving experience, and it delivered. In addition, Mitsubishi had big plans for this car in motorsports, intending to showcase its performance in Japan's JCCA Grand Prix circuit. Unfortunately, those dreams were dashed by the oil crisis of 1973, which put an end to Grand Prix racing. But the Galant GTO wasn't done proving itself. It became a regular contender in rallying, particularly in the Japanese Alpine Rally, where it demonstrated its capability on tough terrains. The 1971 Mitsubishi Galant GTO was more than just a fast car. It was a testament to Japanese engineering and design, blending speed, style, and ambition into a timeless classic. Number 11, 1975 Toyota Celica GT. Speed lovers might not immediately think of the 1975 Toyota Celica GT when discussing fast cars, but this classic is a surprising contender. Originally, its performance numbers were modest, 0 to 60 miles per hour in 12.5 seconds, and a top speed of 114 miles per hour, courtesy of a 134 cubic inch single overhead cam inline-4 engine, producing 96 horsepower and 129 pound-feet of torque. However, what truly sets the Celica apart is its incredible tuning potential. Speaking of its history, when Kong View and his cousins took on a neglected Celica GT over 13 years ago, they saw more than a car, a project with endless possibilities. The Celica began its transformation with a complete teardown, addressing decades of wear and preparing it for a new life. A sleek coat of gunmetal paint, borrowed from a 2006 Corvette, gave it a fresh, modern look, while nostalgic touches like taillights from a 1971 model and retro-styled SSR Longchamp wheels tied it to its roots. Inside, refitted door panels and Autometer phantom gauges brought the interior up to par. But the real magic came later when the group installed a 4th-generation Toyota 3S GTE engine. This powerful swap introduced a Turbonetics T3T4 turbocharger, custom exhaust, intake manifolds, an Infiniti Q45 throttle body, and a Haltech E8 management system, pushing the Celica far beyond its original limits. Moreover, handling improvements followed, including custom rear coilovers, a 4-link bar setup, and T3 camber plates. Willwood brakes with a custom rear disc conversion provided the stopping power needed for its newfound speed. The Celica GT evolved from a humble classic into a high-performance resto-mod, proving that even an unassuming car can become a thrilling speed machine with the right vision and dedication. For Kong and his cousins, patience and persistence turned the Celica into a masterpiece that bridges the gap between nostalgia and modern performance. I hope you enjoy this video. Do like and subscribe to the channel to show your support. Number 10, 1972 Mazda Savannah RX-3 Coupe. The 1972 Mazda Savannah RX-3 Coupe is a pocket-sized powerhouse in fast cars. With a top speed of 112 miles per hour and 110 horsepower, It was a small but mighty contender in its time with outstanding 0 to 60 miles per hour in 8.8 seconds. Its heart was a revolutionary 61 cubic inch 10A Wankel rotary engine, a marvel of engineering that gave it the kind of performance and efficiency few could rival. Paired with a 4-speed manual transmission, the RX-3 was built to deliver a thrilling drive, whether you were hitting the streets or the track. Beyond this, Mazda's decision to use rotary engines wasn't just about innovation, it was a clever move to work around Japanese tax regulations, which favored smaller engine sizes. The RX-3 played a key role in popularizing this engine type, acting as a worthy successor to the RX-2. Mazda offered the RX-3 in several body styles, including coupe, sedan, and station wagon, ensuring it appealed to young speed enthusiasts and small families looking for a sporty ride. Further, its design drew inspiration from American and European influences. At the front, dual round headlights flanked a compact grille reminiscent of the 1964 Mustang. The sloped rear window and dual taillights gave it a distinctive sporty look. Though smaller than most muscle cars of its era, the RX-3 had an unmistakable presence. Inside, it combined style and practicality. Vinyl-covered seats featured embossed pleats, while a badge in the center of the 3-spoke steering wheel showcased the triangular shape of the Wankel rotary engine piston. The dashboard was thoughtfully laid out, with the radio positioned above the HVAC controls for convenience. While its live rear axle with leaf springs wasn't ideal for sharp handling, the RX-3 still featured power brakes with front discs and rear drums for reliable stopping power. Overall, the Mazda RX-3 Coupe was a well-rounded machine, fast, stylish, and full of character. It was a car you could race on the weekends and enjoy every other day of the week. Number 9, 1968 Isuzu 117 Coupe. When the 1968 Isuzu 117 Coupe hit the scene, it brought an unexpected mix of speed and sophistication. With a peppy double overhead cam, 98 cubic inch inline 4-cylinder engine, it delivered 118 horsepower and a top speed of 120 miles per hour. Paired with a 4-speed manual transmission, this coupe wasn't just stylish, it had the performance to match, making it a standout in its time. Isuzu wasn't known for sporty cars back then. The company had built its reputation on trucks and commercial vehicles. But after World War II, its ambitions grew. Enter Giorgetto Giugiaro, a young designer from Ghia Studio who had worked on icons like the Ferrari 250 and Alfa Romeo Giulia. His European-inspired design gave the 117 Coupe a sleek and timeless look, making it as much a head-turner as it was a road performer. Now, let's talk about its design. The front end boasted 4 round headlights framed by chrome trim and connected by a thin horizontal grille. Below them, chrome bumpers and neat parking lights added a touch of elegance. Like many Japanese cars of the era, it featured fender-mounted mirrors, which were functional and a nod to safety standards. The coupe's sloping rear window and short trunk gave it a sporty silhouette reminiscent of the Fiat Dino Coupe, also penned by Giugiaro. Inside, the cabin was crafted with drivers in mind. A 3-spoke steering wheel framed large speedometer and tachometer dials, while additional gauges for oil pressure, fuel, and temperature were neatly arranged. Leather bucket seats and a center console added luxury, while a rear bench seat offered space for 2 more passengers. Though Isuzu initially focused only on the Japanese market, the 117 Coupe stood out as a halo car. Its combination of European design, spirited performance, and upscale features made it a unique addition to the world of fast cars. It may not have been a supercar, but it was a true gem on the road for its time. Number 8, 1973 Datsun Bluebird SSS Coupe. The 1973 Datsun Bluebird SSS Coupe, known as the 610 in the United States, packed a serious punch for its time. With a lively 98 cubic inch single overhead cam, inline 4-cylinder engine, producing 123 horsepower, reaching 0 to 60 miles per hour in 10.2 seconds. And it could zip through the quarter mile in just 9.5 seconds. That's quicker than a Chevrolet Camaro LT of the same era, making this angry bird faster and more efficient. Born from the success of the Datsun 510, the Bluebird SSS Coupe was designed to carry forward the legacy of speed and agility. Inspired by European sedans like the BMW 2002 and Fiat 131, the Bluebird blended sleek styling with impressive engineering. It featured rear-wheel drive, a four-wheel independent suspension, and an overhead camshaft engine, making it a nimble and responsive ride. Additionally, Datsun offered the Bluebird various body styles, including a two-door coupe, a four-door sedan, and a station wagon. However, the SSS Coupe's sportier trim and performance-focused upgrades stood out. Twin Hitachi side draft carburetors gave the engine a robust character, while upgraded interior features added a touch of sophistication to the driving experience. Not only this, the Bluebird's quick acceleration and rallying success made it a legend on the track. Its performance in events like the East African Safari Rally and the Ampol Trial demonstrated its durability and speed. Meanwhile, John Morton's victories in the 1971 and 1972 Trans Am Series cemented its reputation as a racing powerhouse. Even years after its production ended, the Bluebird remains beloved by enthusiasts worldwide. Its affordability, interchangeable parts, and mechanical simplicity make it a favorite for vintage racing and restoration. The 1973 Datsun Bluebird SSS Coupe wasn't just fast for its time. It's a timeless icon of speed and style, proving that great cars leave lasting legacies. Number 7. 1974 Toyota Corolla SR5. The 1974 Toyota Corolla SR5 was a pocket rocket that wasn't afraid to show off its speed. With a 73 cubic inch inline-4 engine producing 115 horsepower, it could go from 0 to 60 miles per hour in just 16.4 seconds, hitting a top speed of 94 miles per hour. These numbers might not seem groundbreaking by today's standards, but back then, this lightweight coupe was one of the fastest cars in its class, winning the hearts of tuners and enthusiasts alike. Speaking of its features, the SR5 was a rear-wheel drive car, making it a joy to drive. The power was delivered smoothly through a 5-speed manual gearbox. The Corolla was known for being easy to handle, making it a perfect option for casual drivers and those looking for something sportier. The torque of 75 pound-feet at 4,600 revolutions per minute gave it a satisfying punch, even when you weren't pushing it to the limit. Despite its performance, the Corolla SR5 had a clean, understated look. This one kept things subtle. Unlike many cars that go overboard with flashy modifications, there were a few updates like the JDM front valance, Hella lighting, and smaller chrome bumpers. But overall, the body remained untouched. The British racing green paint job was applied carefully, highlighting the car's smooth curves without overdoing it. Inside, the cabin had a sleek, stealthy feel too. With JDM-inspired pieces like the dash kit and TRD seats, it had all the right touches while still looking close to stock. The SR5 was the last of the lightweight Corollas, making it unique. It was the perfect combination of speed, style, and handling. And even today, it remains a favorite among car enthusiasts who appreciate the thrill of driving a true classic. Number 6. 1990 Nissan 300ZX. When the 1990 Nissan 300ZX hit the showrooms, it was a game changer. This car was built for speed, offering a thrilling experience. With a twin turbocharged 183 cubic inch V6 engine that generated 300 horsepower, the 300ZX could go from 0 to 60 miles per hour in around 6 seconds. It could also cover the quarter mile in just 15 seconds at 93 miles per hour. That's impressive for a car weighing 3,341 pounds, and it still holds up as one of the fastest sports cars of its time. Nissan wasn't just about speed. They focused on refining the driving experience. The 300ZX came with a 5-speed manual transmission, a 4-speed automatic, and a viscous, limited-slip differential that helped the power reach the rear wheels smoothly. This car wasn't just quick in a straight line. It handled well too, thanks to an advanced suspension system. The front had unequal length control arms, while the rear featured a 4-element multi-link design, all working together to give a comfortable yet responsive ride. This setup allowed the 300ZX to smoothly glide through corners, with predictable handling even at high speeds. Stopping power was just as impressive, with 4-wheel vented disc brakes and 4-piston calipers at the front, ensuring you could quickly bring this car to a stop without any signs of fade. Inside, the car offered a smooth, satisfying drive, with a variable assist electronic power steering system that made turning effortless. Every shift of the stubby 5-speed shifter and every engine roar reminded you of how special this car was. The 1990 Nissan 300X was not just fast, it was an experience. Its perfect power, handling, and comfort blend made it a standout among fast cars. Number 5. 1970 Datsun 240Z. The 1970 Datsun 240Z quickly earned its place as one of the most iconic and fastest cars of the 1970s. With its sleek design and agile performance, this car was made for speed. Powered by a 146 cubic inch inline-6 engine producing 175 horsepower, the 240Z could accelerate from 0 to 60 miles per hour in just 8 seconds and cover a quarter mile in 17.5 seconds. The car could also reach a top speed of 120 miles per hour. Impressive numbers for a car built in that era. But it wasn't just about raw power. The 240Z came with a fully independent suspension system that provided excellent handling and stability, making it a joy to drive. It had a McPherson strut setup at the front and rear, giving it a balanced ride. The car was smooth and responsive on the road, though it did have a few quirks on the test track. For example, the vehicle handled corners well when turning left, but it would understeer a bit when turning right, something that could likely be traced to an issue with one of the car's springs. Furthermore, the Datsun 240Z wasn't perfect, however. The throttle system, designed to meet emission standards, could make it harder to shift smoothly or respond well at low speeds. Still, these minor setbacks didn't take away from the fact that the 240Z was a fast and enjoyable car. It dominated the SCCAC production category throughout the decade, proving its racing pedigree. With its speed, design, and performance, the 1970 Datsun 240Z left a lasting legacy in fast cars. It was more than just a sports car. It was a symbol of the 70s speed revolution. Number 4, 1994 Toyota Celica ST205. The Toyota Celica ST205 is a true powerhouse that left its mark in fast cars. This turbocharged beauty was built for speed, boasting a 146 cubic inch inline-4 engine that cranked out 254 horsepower. With all-wheel drive and a 5-speed gearbox, the Celica could accelerate from 0 to 60 miles per hour in just 5.9 seconds. The top speed is an impressive 153 miles per hour. This car wasn't just fast, but a race car for the road. In addition to its speed, the Celica's turbocharged engine delivered excellent mid-range power. Thanks to high-flow catalytic converters, the turbo spooled up quickly, giving it a deep and satisfying engine growl. The all-wheel drive system ensured that no matter how much power was underfoot, the car remained glued to the road. Plus, the quick-shifting 5-speed transmission, especially with an aftermarket short-throw shifter, made every gear change feel precise and direct, like a bolt-action rifle in your hands. But the Celica wasn't just about speed and power. With a sleek, swooping design and gold speedline wheels, it turned heads wherever it went. The cabin, surprisingly spacious for a coupe, featured a Recaro confetti seat for the driver, offering support during those sharp turns. Even the back seats had been made more helpful, with folding options for extra cargo space. This car's legacy isn't just about the numbers. Its racing pedigree shines through, especially with its success in the World Rally Championship, where it won the 1995 Rally Catalunya. The Celica ST205 wasn't just a fast car. It was a legend that combined speed, reliability, and a dash of style. Number 3, 1973 Nissan Skyline 2000 GTR. Then 1973, Nissan Skyline 2000 GTR is often considered the granddaddy of all Skyline GTRs, and for good reason. With a 146 cubic inch inline-6 engine, producing 160 horsepower, this car wasn't just about looks, it was about speed. It could go from 0 to 60 miles per hour in just 8.4 seconds, which was impressive for its time. Its top speed is 124 miles per hour. It truly defined Japanese muscle, with a fastback design and pitch black wheels that gave it a sleek and powerful look. This rare masterpiece is often called the Phantom by Nissan. Only 200 units were produced, making it an incredibly elusive car. If you're lucky enough to see one, snap a picture. It might be your only chance. Despite its brief production run, the Skyline GTR set the stage for future performance models. blending power with style in a way few cars of the era could match. The car featured a 5-speed manual transmission that connected the engine's power to the road, delivering a driving experience that was both thrilling and responsive. With 131 pound-feet of torque, the Skyline had enough grunt to handle Japan's twisty backroads easily. Though the production was short-lived due to strict emission controls, those fortunate enough to own one of these rarities could enjoy the road with the smooth, effortless power of the inline-six engine. The 1973 Nissan Skyline 2000 GTR may have been a fleeting moment in automotive history. Still, it left an indelible mark, proving that sometimes the fastest cars come in the most unexpected packages. Number 2, 1991 Mitsubishi 3000 GT VR4. The 1991 Mitsubishi 3000 GT VR4 was a serious performer in the race for speed and power. With a turbocharged 300 horsepower, 183 cubic inch V6 engine, and an impressive 306 pound-feet of torque, it was clear this car was built to perform. The 3000 GT VR4 could accelerate from 0 to 60 miles per hour in just 4.8 seconds, putting it up with sports cars like the Chevrolet Corvette. Thanks to its all-wheel drive system, it wasn't just fast, it was ready for anything. Mitsubishi didn't stop there. The VR4 wasn't only about power. It was designed as a grand touring car, bringing both speed and luxury. It came with plush leather seats and cutting-edge technology, features that set it apart from many other performance cars of the time. Despite its extra 3,737 pounds, the all-wheel drive system allowed it to grip the road and launch quickly. The VR4 didn't just feel fast, it had the performance to back it up. Initially, the car's turbocharged V6 produced 300 horsepower, but later generations saw a boost, reaching 320 horsepower and 315 pound-feet of torque. This made VR4 even more capable of handling high-speed performance with ease. Although its weight made it slower than some lighter competitors in the long run, it still impressed with a quarter mile of 13.6 seconds at 100 miles per hour. The VR4 was not just a car, but an engineering marvel, combining raw speed with refinement and technology well ahead of its time. Number 1, 1967 Toyota 2000 GT. The 1967 Toyota 2000 GT car put Japanese muscle on the map. When it was first shown at the Tokyo Motor Show in 1965, it immediately grabbed attention with its stylish lines, stylish looks, and impressive performance. With a 146 cubic inch inline-six engine producing 150 horsepower, the 2000 GT could reach 0 to 60 miles per hour in around 8 seconds and a top speed of 130 miles per hour. It wasn't just a car, it was a star, even making a cameo in the James Bond film You Only Live Twice. The 2000 GT wasn't just about looks though, it was an actual performance machine. Developed in collaboration with Yamaha, it featured a DOHC engine design and cutting-edge technology. The car's suspension using double wishbone components like those found in race cars, paired with disc brakes on all 4 magnesium wheels, gave it outstanding handling and braking. The body was crafted using Yamaha's advanced molding technology, adding to its futuristic appeal. The 2000 GT set 3 world and 13 international records in 1966, proving its power and reliability. Only 337 units were made, making this car incredibly rare and sought after. With its speed, style, and innovation blend, the Toyota 2000 GT is more than just a car. It's a legend in automotive history. Which of these Japanese muscle cars defines the perfect balance of speed and style? Let us know in the comments below.
I was just about to close my laptop. I really was. The screen was dimming, my hand was on the mouse, and I had already said goodnight to the room. But then I saw the title, 12 Fastest Japanese Muscle Cars Ever Made. And I stopped. I stopped because when someone says muscle car, I think American. I think big blocks and V8s and rear-wheel drive and burnouts at stoplights. I think Detroit. I think the 60s. I think of cars that guzzle gas and shake the ground and announce themselves from a mile away. I don't think of Japan. I don't think of small, efficient, reliable engines. I don't think of 4 cylinders and twin turbos and all-wheel drive. But the title said Japanese muscle cars. And I was curious. I was very curious. So I clicked. And now here I am, hours later, because this video just took me on a journey I didn't know I needed. A journey across the Pacific. A journey into a different kind of power. A journey into the engines and the dreams and the engineering of a country that took the idea of a muscle car and made it its own. Let me tell you about it. Let me walk you through it. Every single minute of it. The video starts with footage of Japan, not the Japan of neon lights and crowded crosswalks. A different Japan. Mountain roads, curves, hairpins, the kind of roads that make you hold your breath. The kind of roads that separate the drivers from the passengers. The kind of roads that demand skill and courage and a car that can handle. You see a car, a small car, a coupe. It's flying through the curves, tires squealing, engines screaming. The driver is shifting, braking, accelerating, dancing with the road. And then the video cuts to a garage, a clean garage, organized, tools on the wall, a lift. And a man is standing there. He's wearing a baseball cap. He has a calm voice, the voice of someone who knows things. He says, "People think muscle cars are American." And they're not wrong. The muscle car was born in America. It was raised in America. It reached its peak in America. But Japan took the idea and made it different, made it better in some ways, made it faster in the corners, made it more efficient, made it more reliable. And they built cars that could beat American muscle cars on the street, on the track, on the mountain passes. Not because they had bigger engines, because they had better engineering. Because they had turbochargers and all-wheel drive and lightweight bodies and suspensions that could handle anything you threw at them. These are the fastest Japanese muscle cars ever made, and most people don't know about them. Most people still think Japan only makes economy cars, but they're wrong. They're very wrong. I leaned in closer to my screen, because I love being wrong about things. I love discovering that the world is bigger and more interesting than I thought. I love learning that there are secrets hiding in plain sight. And Japanese muscle cars? That was a secret I had never heard before. The video cuts to the first car. It's a coupe. Small, box, pop-up headlights. It looks like something from the 80s. It looks like something that would be at home in a parking lot next to a Honda Civic. But the man says, "This car is a legend. This car changed everything." Before this car, Japanese cars were seen as cheap, slow, disposable. After this car, everything changed, because this car had a turbocharger and an intercooler and a suspension that was tuned for the track. It had four-wheel independent suspension, four-wheel disc brakes, a limited slip differential. This car was not an economy car. This car was a weapon. And when it came out, it embarrassed cars that cost twice as much. It embarrassed cars from Europe. It embarrassed cars from America. And it started a war. A war that would last for decades. A war that would push the boundaries of what was possible. A war that would give us some of the greatest cars ever made. I looked at the car on the screen. It was so unassuming, so forgettable. And underneath the hood, hidden like a secret weapon, was a turbocharger. A little spinny thing that takes air and squeezes it and shoves it into the engine and makes power out of nothing, makes speed out of thin air. That was the secret. That was the magic. That was how Japan beat America at its own game. Not with bigger engines, with smarter engines. The man says, American muscle cars were about brute force, big engines, lots of cylinders, lots of displacement, lots of noise, lots of power. But they couldn't turn, they couldn't stop, they couldn't handle. They were drag racers, straight-line heroes. And that was fine, that was fun. But Japanese muscle cars were different. They were about balance, about handling, about being fast everywhere, not just in a straight line, on the curves, on the mountain roads, on the track. And that made them better in a lot of ways. More fun to drive, more engaging, more challenging. Because any idiot can floor it in a straight line. But to be fast on a curvy road, that takes skill. That takes practice. That takes a car that's willing to work with you. And these Japanese muscle cars, they were willing, they were eager, they were hungry. A car that your grandmother would drive to church, and then you would take to the track on the weekend, and blow the doors off of cars that cost 3 times as much. I thought about that, about the duality, about having 2 lives, the public life, where you're just a regular person driving a regular sedan, and the private life, where you're a speed demon hiding in plain sight. That's the appeal of sleepers. They let you be 2 people at once, the boring person that the world sees, and the speed demon that only comes out when the road is empty and the light is green. The man says the Japanese car companies in the 80s and 90s were building some of the best engines in the world, engines that could rev to the moon, engines that could handle boost pressures that would blow an American engine to pieces, engines that were over-engineered and understressed and capable of incredible things. And they put those engines in cars that looked like nothing, cars that looked like they belonged in a rental fleet, cars that nobody suspected. And that was the genius of it. That was the Japanese way. Under-promise and over-deliver. Look like nothing. Be everything. The video cuts to the 3rd car, a coupe, sleek, long nose, short tail, pop-up headlights. It looks fast. Even sitting still, it looks fast. The man says, this car had an engine that is considered one of the greatest engines ever made. An inline-6, twin turbochargers, dual overhead cams, 4 valves per cylinder. This engine could make over 300 horsepower. In the 90s, 300 horsepower from a 6-cylinder, from a car that weighed less than 3,000 pounds. That was insane. That was groundbreaking. That was the kind of power that American V8s were making, but in a car that could actually turn, in a car that could actually stop, in a car that could actually handle. And it was reliable. You could drive it every day. You could take it to the track on the weekend. You could drive it across the country, and then drive it home and do it all over again. That was the magic of Japanese muscle. Power and reliability, speed and durability, fun and practicality. I imagined driving that car, the twin turbos spooling up, the engine revving to 8,000 RPM, the car lunging forward, pressing me back into the seat, the surprised faces of the people in the other cars, the ones who thought they were looking at something ordinary. That's the magic of sleepers. They humble you. They remind you that you can't judge a book by its cover. You can't judge a car by its badge or its shape or its paint color. You can't judge anything by how it looks on the outside. The man says the Japanese muscle car era was special because it wasn't about one car. It wasn't about one company. It was about a culture of people who loved cars, who loved driving, who loved speed, who loved technology, who loved pushing the limits. And that culture produced some of the most amazing cars ever made. Cars that are now legends, cars that are now collectibles, cars that are now worth a fortune. But back then they were just cars. Fast cars, fun cars, affordable cars, cars that you could buy with a normal paycheck, cars that you could work on in your garage, cars that you could take to the track and beat cars that cost 5 times as much. That was the dream. That was the reality. The video cuts to the 4th car. A hatchback. Small. Light. The kind of car that looks like it would be fun to toss around. The man says, this hatchback had all-wheel drive. All-wheel drive in a small hatchback. In the early 90s, that was unheard of. All-wheel drive was for trucks and SUVs and rally cars, not for little hatchbacks. But this one had it, and it was brilliant. It gave you traction in the rain and the snow and the dry pavement. It let you put all that power down without spinning the wheels. It made you feel like a hero in a car that looked like a toy, a hero that nobody expected, a hero that could take corners at speeds that would make other cars lose control. I remembered those hatchbacks. I remembered seeing them on the road and thinking they were cute. Cute, that's what I thought. And now I find out that they had all-wheel drive and turbocharged engines and suspension that was tuned by people who knew what they were doing. They weren't cute. They were weapons, secret weapons, wolves in sheep's clothing, and I had no idea. The man laughs. He says that's the thing about these cars. They were underestimated from the moment they were introduced. The magazines didn't take them seriously. The critics didn't take them seriously. The public didn't take them seriously. They were too small, too weird, too Japanese. But the people who drove them, they knew that these cars were special. They knew that these cars could do things that no American muscle car could do. They knew that these cars were faster, better, more fun, and they kept that knowledge to themselves. They let the world underestimate them, because that was part of the fun. That was part of the magic, being the underdog, being the secret, being the sleeper. The video cuts to the fifth car, a coupe again, but different, more angular, more aggressive. The man says this car had a rotary engine, no pistons, no valves, just a triangle spinning in a housing. It was small, it was light, it was smooth, and it could rev to 9,000 RPM. 9,000. That's the sound of a machine that is happy. That's the sound of a machine that wants to go. And when you revved it out, when you took it to the red line, when you shifted at the limit, it felt like nothing else. It felt like a jet engine. It felt like a motorcycle. It felt like the future. And it was. The rotary engine was the future. Until it wasn't. Until the fuel economy and the emissions and the reliability issues killed it. But for a brief moment, for a glorious moment, the rotary engine was the most exciting thing in the world. And this car was its greatest expression. I thought about the sound of a rotary engine, the high-pitched whine, the smoothness, the way it revved so freely, so eagerly, so happily. It wasn't the rumble of an American V8. It wasn't the growl of a European V12. It was something else, something unique, something Japanese, something that could only come from a country that was willing to try weird things, that was willing to fail, that was willing to be different. The man says, the Japanese muscle car era didn't last forever. It couldn't. The regulations got tighter, the emissions got stricter, the fuel economy standards got higher, and the cars got heavier, more expensive, more complicated. The golden age ended. The cars became classics. The prices went up. The people who owned them became custodians, not drivers. And that's a shame. Because these cars were meant to be driven. They were meant to be enjoyed. They were meant to be pushed. They were meant to be raced. Not to be stored in garages and looked at on Sundays. Not to be investments. Not to be trophies. They were meant to be driven. And the people who still drive them, they know. They know what these cars can do. They know what these cars are capable of. They know that Japanese muscle is real. That it's fun. That it's forever. The video continues. Car after car. A sedan with a twin-turbo V6 and all-wheel drive. A coupe with a naturally aspirated inline-4 that revved to the moon. A hatchback with a supercharger and a limited-slip differential. A luxury coupe with a V8 and a manual transmission. A small car with a big heart. A forgotten car with a loyal following. A rare car that only a few people have ever seen. And with each car, the man told a story. A story about the engineers who designed it, the workers who built it, the drivers who loved it, the racers who made it famous, the people who kept the dream alive. He says these cars are not just metal and plastic and rubber and glass. They are ideas. They are dreams. They are the result of people who refused to accept the status quo, who refused to believe that Japanese cars had to be boring, who refused to let American muscle have all the glory. They built these cars in boardrooms and design studios and factories. They built them with passion and obsession and love. And they built them for people like us. People who love to drive. People who love speed. People who love the feeling of a car that is perfectly balanced, perfectly tuned, perfectly alive. He pauses. He looks at the camera. He has a look on his face. Respect, affection, gratitude. He says, the next time you see an old Japanese car from the 80s or 90s, a sedan, a coupe, a hatchback, something that looks like it might be slow, something that looks like it might be boring, look closer. Look at the wheels. Look at the exhaust. Look at the intercooler hidden behind the bumper. Listen to the engine. You might be surprised. You might find something special. You might find a Japanese muscle car. You might find a legend. You might find a car that you never heard of. Until now. He smiles. The video ends. The screen goes dark. And I'm just sitting here. In the dark. My living room. My blanket. My cold tea. My tired eyes. Thinking about Japan. About the cars I never knew. About the secrets that were hiding in plain sight. About the engineers who built them. About the drivers who loved them. About the people who kept them alive. About the stories that were almost forgotten. I think about the sound of a turbo spooling, the whine of a rotary at 9,000 RPM, the growl of an inline-six at full throttle, the hiss of a blow-off valve, the chirp of tires at the limit. These are the sounds of Japanese muscle. These are the sounds of a different kind of power, a different kind of passion, a different kind of dream. I think about the mountain roads, the curves, the hairpins, the way these cars dance through them like they were born there, like they were made for nothing else, like they were happier on those roads than anywhere else in the world. That's what Japanese muscle cars were built for. Not for drag strips, not for boulevards, for mountains, for corners, for the places where American muscle cars feared to go. I think about the culture, the magazines, the videos, the forums, the people who gathered to talk about these cars, to share tips, to tell stories, to keep the dream alive. They were a community, a family, a tribe, and they loved these cars with a passion that most people will never understand. They loved them not because they were perfect. They loved them because they were imperfect, because they had quirks and flaws and problems, because they were difficult, because they were demanding, because they required commitment, because they required sacrifice. That's what made them special. That's what made them worth loving. That's the video. That's the commentary. That's what I've been sitting with for the past however long. 30 minutes, maybe more. I lost track. Because this video made me think about things I hadn't thought about in years, about power and handling, about straight lines and curves, about American muscle and Japanese muscle, about the different ways to be fast, about the different ways to be fun, about the different ways to be free. And now I think I'll go to bed, but I won't sleep. Not right away. I'll lie there, staring at the ceiling, thinking about those cars, about the twin-turbo coupes and the all-wheel drive sedans and the rotary-powered hatchbacks, about the pop-up headlights and the digital dashboards and the manual transmissions, about the engineers who built them, the drivers who loved them, the racers who made them famous, the people who kept the dream alive. And maybe, just maybe, I'll start looking at the old Japanese cars in my neighborhood, at the forgotten cars in the parking lots, at the cars that look like nothing. Because you never know. You never know when you're looking at a legend that you never heard of until now. Good night. For real this time. No more scrolling. No more videos. Just me and the ceiling and the memory of mountain roads and turbo spools and the people who loved them. And the hope that somewhere, in a garage or a barn or a storage unit, there's another Japanese muscle car waiting to be discovered. Another sleeper waiting to be awakened. Another legend waiting to be remembered.